This is Nigeria. As of 2025, Nigeria is currently on a free fall from grace. The country is currently experiencing its worst moments. Bribery and corruption is at an all-time high. The economy is plummeting, and the country is in extreme poverty and insecurity. In fact, amongst the over 230 million people living in Nigeria, over 70% of the people live in abject poverty. The thing is, although Nigeria has generally never been a prosperous nation, the country was doing relatively well less than 10 years ago. In fact, the Nigerian economy has been the largest in Africa until 3 years ago when things started going bad. Nigeria was often referred to as the giant of Africa due to the sheer size of its population and its economy. But today, can we really consider Nigeria as the giant of Africa? Well, in this video, we shall take a deep dive into why Nigeria is gradually becoming one of the worst countries in Africa. But first, if you are new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Declining economy. Nigeria, once heralded as the largest economy in Africa, experienced significant growth, particularly in the early 2000s. In 2014, Nigeria's GDP was estimated at $510 billion, the highest since independence, surpassing South Africa's $350 billion, marking a pivotal moment in its economic history. This growth was driven by various sectors, notably oil and gas, agriculture, telecommunications, and services. The country was the largest oil producer in Africa, contributing about 90% of its export revenues and significantly influencing its GDP. However, the economy began to face challenges post-2014, primarily due to a collapse in global oil prices. From mid-2014 to early 2016, oil prices plummeted from over $100 per barrel to below $30 per barrel, severely impacting Nigeria's revenue. The country, heavily reliant on oil, saw its GDP shrink by 1.6% in 2016, marking its first recession in over 2 decades. This downturn led to increased inflation, which peaked at 18.7% in January 2017, eroding purchasing power and deepening poverty. Furthermore, the Nigerian economy struggled with structural issues, including a lack of diversification. Despite efforts to promote sectors like agriculture and technology, over 60% of government revenue still depended on oil. The security situation also deteriorated, particularly in the northern regions, where the Boko Haram insurgency significantly affected agricultural productivity and displaced millions. This instability led to reduced foreign investment and a loss of confidence in the economy. By 2020, Nigeria's GDP had contracted by 1.8%, and the country faced a staggering unemployment rate of over 40%. The COVID-19 pandemic further complicated recovery efforts, with the economy shrinking by 1.92% in 2020. Attempts to implement economic reforms, such as the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, launched in 2017, have had mixed results, highlighting the need for a more sustainable and diversified economic strategy. As of 2025, Nigeria's economy has dropped from the largest in Africa to the 4th largest at $250 billion, now behind South Africa, Egypt, and Algeria. This decline is driven by severe currency devaluation, which has seen the naira lose about 50% of its value since mid-2023, contributing to soaring inflation rates that have exceeded 20%. Nigeria's heavy reliance on oil exports has made it vulnerable to fluctuating global oil prices, exacerbating fiscal challenges. Despite attempts at economic reforms, such as removing fuel subsidies and allowing the naira to float, these measures have yet to stabilize the economy. Structural issues, including corruption and inadequate infrastructure, continue to hinder growth. As a result, Nigeria faces persistent economic difficulties, impacting the quality of life for its citizens and limiting investor confidence in the market. Due to this economy decline, the standard of living in Nigeria has also declined drastically. The standard of living in Nigeria has seen significant strain, particularly in recent years, exacerbated by economic challenges such as high inflation, currency devaluation, and rising unemployment. As of 2025, a substantial portion of the population struggles to afford basic necessities, leading to widespread hardship. Although Nigeria is home to some of the richest black men in the world, and the country is also home to many wealthy celebrities, Nigeria exhibits a stark wealth gap, with a small elite controlling a significant portion of the country's wealth while millions live in poverty. According to recent estimates, over 45% of Nigerians live below the poverty line, defined as earning less than $1.90 per day. This disparity is particularly evident in urban versus rural settings, where urban dwellers often have better access to resources and services compared to their rural counterparts. Unfortunately, a vast majority of the Nigerian population live in rural settings with very low purchasing power. Inflation has surged in Nigeria, with rates exceeding 20%. The prices of essential goods and services, including food, transportation, and healthcare, have skyrocketed. For instance, the price of staple foods, such as rice and beans, has doubled in some areas, making it increasingly difficult for families to maintain a nutritious diet. Fuel prices have also risen sharply due to subsidy removals, directly impacting transportation costs and, consequently, the prices of goods. Many Nigerians are forced to make difficult choices, often prioritizing food over other necessities like healthcare or education. The high cost of living has led to increased malnutrition and a rise in preventable diseases as families cut back on healthcare expenses. Additionally, the economic strain has resulted in social unrest, as citizens demand better governance and accountability from their leaders. In summary, the gap between the rich and poor in Nigeria is widening, with rising costs of living making it increasingly difficult for many to afford basic necessities. This economic hardship poses significant challenges to the overall well-being of the population. High level of corruption. Bribery and corruption have profoundly impacted Nigeria, undermining its economic development and social stability. Corruption is deeply entrenched in various sectors, including politics, law enforcement, and public services, leading to a significant loss of public trust and resources. According to Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index, Nigeria has consistently ranked poorly. In the 2024 CPI, Nigeria was ranked 154th out of 180 countries, with a score of just 24 out of 100, where 0 signifies high corruption and 100 indicates a clean governance environment. This low ranking highlights the pervasive nature of corruption, which hampers economic progress and deters foreign investment. In Nigeria, corruption manifests in the embezzlement of public funds and bribery for contracts and licenses. The oil sector, which is vital to the economy, has been particularly affected, with billions of dollars lost due to corrupt practices. This mismanagement deprives the government of essential revenue that could be invested in infrastructure, healthcare, and education, exacerbating poverty and inequality. Poor governance exacerbates the corruption crisis. Weak institutions, lack of accountability, and ineffective law enforcement create an environment where corrupt practices flourish. Public officials often evade consequences, leading to a culture of impunity that discourages civic engagement and trust in government. Rising insecurity. Another aspect that is plaguing Nigeria is insecurity. Insecurity in Nigeria has reached alarming levels, significantly undermining the country's stability and development. Various forms of violence, including terrorism, banditry, and communal clashes, have created a pervasive atmosphere of fear and instability. The rise of Boko Haram in the northeastern region has been one of the most devastating security challenges. This extremist group has conducted numerous attacks, leading to thousands of deaths and displacing millions. Additionally, the proliferation of armed groups and banditry in the northwest has resulted in widespread kidnappings for ransom, terrorizing local communities and disrupting daily life. The insecurity has severely affected Nigeria's economy. Agricultural production has been disrupted due to violence, leading to food shortages and rising prices. Investors are hesitant to engage in a country plagued by violence, stunting economic growth and limiting job creation. The tourism sector, a potential source of revenue, has also suffered due to negative perceptions of safety. Insecurity has fractured social cohesion, fostering distrust among communities. Ethnic and religious tensions have escalated, leading to communal violence and further destabilizing regions. The resulting displacement has created a humanitarian crisis, with millions living in internally displaced persons (IDP) camps lacking basic necessities. To conclude, for Nigeria to improve its situation and become a better country, it must prioritize good governance, transparency, and accountability to combat corruption effectively. Strengthening institutions and the rule of law will enhance public trust and civic engagement. Investing in education and vocational training can empower the youth, fostering innovation and economic growth. Additionally, addressing security challenges through community involvement and strategic partnerships will create a safer environment for all. Finally, promoting inclusivity and sustainable development will ensure that all Nigerians benefit from progress, paving the way for a more prosperous and united nation. Thanks for watching this video. Drop your thoughts in the comments section and let's continue the conversation from there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos.